2025 was definitely a year. Was it a good year? Hell nah. But was it a good year for movies? Definitely. I dabbled in so many movies this year that I became one of those guys on Letterboxd. It's not a good look for me, man. I just need my matcha latte and vinyls to complete the look of a performative asshole, and but whatever. I watched roughly 94 movies this year, and here's like 10 films that came out this year that was amazing. Sure, 90% of the movies will be the same as some random guy on YouTube, but what makes this video different? It's because it's my list, obviously. Hopefully I finish scripting and editing this video by the end of this year. I still got like, what, a day left? Good enough for me. Before I start with the list, I would like to give some honorable mentions towards some movies that didn't make the cut and some ass movies also. First of all, we have F1. I'm not really an F1 guy, so I didn't really care, but I really like Top Gun Maverick, and it's by the same director. So, watching this as a guy who barely knows about F1 other than the F1 PSP game, it's pretty cool. It's like one of those dad movies, I guess. Yeah, that's all I can say. Then, we got Superman, which is a good movie, I would say so myself. I just don't want like a superhero movie in my top 10 to not look like one of those chuds. You know what I'm saying? Sorry guys. Weapons was pretty good. Mickey 17 was pretty good too. Anyways, there are some movies that I enjoyed but barely made the cut, and those two movies are the Demon Slayer movie and Zootopia 2. Let me just explain. I think that Demon Slayer is one of the best anime slop there is. JJK? Nah. One Punch Man? Fuck nah. I've been hooked on Demon Slayer, and I was reading that shit while it was still publishing. I haven't watched the other seasons. I stopped at like season 1 way back when it was releasing. So jumping into this movie without any recollection of who the characters are, besides my failing memory, was the real treat of the movie. I also like cried to this movie. I'm not really proud of that. It was like an empty theater, but man, it was a good cry though. Demon Slayer movie? UI. On the other hand, Zootopia 2 is like one of those movies I was kinda anticipating. I was like certain this movie was going to be dog ass like stupid fucking Kung Fu Panda 4, but it proved me wrong. It was actually really good. I am a firm supporter of the first Zootopia movie. I love Zootopia and Beastars also. That does not make me a furry though. Fuck you. I don't really count YouTube videos. Speaking of that, I've never seen a video about like someone ranking their favorite videos on YouTube of a year. Someone should really get into that. That shit is like untapped potential. Anyways, where am I going with this? My videos! You got fooled. Imagine that I'm just a narcissistic YouTuber who glazes himself and touches himself while looking at the mirror while also looking at his views on a video going up. Crazy, right? Yeah, 1000 players, civilization, rich and poor, and searching for a world that doesn't exist is the videos that is in the honorable mentions part. I genuinely believe that those two videos are amazing pieces of fiction, and it's a shame that just because they're YouTube videos, it doesn't get treated as like the same as movies. Sure, these videos aren't going to win any Oscars or whatever, but like it's really good and it's free. You guys need to watch it. Last honorable mention goes to the new stupid SpongeBob movie. It was the most sloppiest slop there is, but now you're asking, why is it here then? Well, it's one of my favorite cinema experiences. I went to the shit with like my friends. The cinema had like some kids there who kicked my seat, making it feel like a 4DX movie, but that's not the point. The point is, it was a great experience. I loved getting excited at stupid Ice Spice with the kids and saying big guy the entire length of the movie. Good days. Well, I'm done with my tangent. Let's actually start the list. Sinners was one of the movies that I really enjoyed this year. You guys must be freaking out seeing this at like 10, but it's good, but it's not that good. I have cool opinion. Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler, also known as the Black Panther guy, is like one of those movies everyone talks about, saying it's like the best movie of all time and all of that, and you go spend like $20 with a bag of gummies to watch it. Well, the movie is about some twins played by Michael B. Jordan and Michael A. Jordan. Ayo! I stole that joke from Letterboxd. Am I cool? Am I handsome? Well, they try to leave their troubled gangsta lives behind, only to discover there is a greater evil waiting for them. What's the greater evil? Vampires. This ain't your mom's Twilight. This is the cool Twilight. Was it cool? Hell yeah. I love the action sequences, and it's a really straightforward but amazing story. Please watch it. I love romance movies. I love crying to romantic movies. I'm a yearner for life, and this statement has nothing to do with the number 9 spot, which is Die My Love. Die My Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey, is about two hot people slowly slipping away into madness, locked away in an old house, and hijinks occur, I guess. What I can say about this movie is that I will never watch it again. It's like one of those movies, like Grave of the Fireflies, where, it's a masterpiece, but you just can't fathom to watch it again. That happened to me after this movie. During the credits, I left the theater and just went for a nice smoke break that I needed. This film is one of the most raw, authentic, and insanely honest depictions of marriage that I have ever seen in my life. Have I been married? No. But if I was, I'd be scared if this happened to me. It made me reconsider my life. That's how good it is. You know those days where you think something is a 10 and you hold to that opinion until you watch something better? One Battle After Another is that. One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. The guy who made the I Abandoned My Chud! And like The Master. One Battle After Another is about a washed up revolutionary who is just paranoid living in the bumfuck of nowhere with his daughter. Then Sean Penn boner guy resurfaces. Long story, you gotta watch the movie. And then he kidnaps his daughter. Then it's up to Leonardo DiCaprio to find his daughter and battle his past. Was it good? Yeah, of course, hell yeah. It's amazing. The soundtrack by Radiohead's Johnny Greenwood also is just the cherry on top. I love that. It's amazingly shot, great characters, and all in all, I do love this movie. And I do think it's one of the most important movies of the decade. But unfortunately, of course, I watch other great movies than this, so this might need a rewatch. Bugonia, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, is one of those movies where I enjoyed every second of it. It also has my favorite performance other than Jennifer Lawrence from Die My Love, and that is Teddy, played by Jesse Plemons, the guy who shot the kid in Breaking Bad. Well, the movie is a dark comedy sci-fi film about two paranoid men who kidnaps a pharmaceutical CEO, believing that she's an alien preparing to destroy Earth, which leads to violence, absurdity, towards the themes of conspiracy and corporate power. Poor Things was actually my first Yorgos Lanthimos movie, so I was really hyped for this movie. It's quite different as like Poor Things is about prostitution and women empowerment, and this is about some bum guy named Teddy. I actually watched this after Die My Love. It was a double trouble feature, and it was a great experience. If you guys love movies, you guys should do like the double trouble feature. It's great. It's also a palate cleanser from the previous movie I watched, and it made me feel much happier. I love puzzle games. I love it to death. I love the feeling of finding clues to find the meaning of it, or like the conclusion of it. Therefore, I love murder mysteries. It's just one of those genres that itches my puzzle game itch, which is why Wake Up Dead Man takes my number 6 spot. I've watched all the Knives Out movies during release. I remember watching the first one in like a packed cinema and was so enamored by solving the case before James Bond did. The second one, on the other hand, was really good too. I rewatched it recently and it was fun. All of the Knives Out movies are just dumb fun to watch, and I love them deeply. Well, Wake Up Dead Man, directed by Ryan Johnson, is about Detective Benoit Blanc teaming up with the Challengers guy to investigate a perfectly impossible crime at a small town church. It's good. I watched it with like one of my friends that had no idea about Knives Out and thought it was like one of those pretentious movies that I always force him to watch when he joins the Discord server call. He said it's good, so therefore it's good. Also, this is my favorite amongst the other two. Why? I don't know, recency bias, I guess. I like Ellie Fanning. It's sentimental value. Okay, no more funny business guy. Well, this is a film that is quite highly rated in terms of things, and it deserves every praise that it gets. Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier, is practically about a father and daughter relationship. Two sisters reunite with their estranged father, who was a once renowned director who offers a role in what he hopes will be his comeback film. I grew up with siblings, and if you did too, I urge you to watch this movie. Sure, I didn't have an estranged father who cannot communicate with people unless he is using his own scripts, but this movie was beautiful and it was really important to me. I watched it like last week and it still lingers in my mind. Good movie. Watch it. You know, people say that Millennium Actress is one of those movies that make you say, I love movies, but what I personally believe a movie that also does that and pays homage towards filmmaking and the art of cinema is Resurrection. Resurrection, directed by B. Gunn. Who is B. Gunn? He does one takes. It's one of the most pretentious movies I've watched this year, but that does not matter. It's, well, a movie about movies. Well, it's about a future where humanity has surrendered its ability to dream in exchange for immortality and all, but that's barely the plot. I watched this with a friend in the cinemas and I loved it. It's also one of the most beautiful movies I've ever watched. The set pieces, the cinematography is just wonderful. I've never expected a movie I wanted to watch on a whim because one of the other movies by this director inspired a music video for my favorite band could have this effect on me. I'm no filmmaker, but this movie really made me appreciate film as an art. It's not for everyone, and during the movie, there were like people leaving, but to me, I just love this movie. Thank you. Chainsaw Man Raze arc. I love Raze. I need a bad bitch like Raze in my life. On God. I've talked about this movie before in my other video right here, right here. So I've already exhausted everything that I can say about this. I love Chainsaw Man. I love Makima too. Damn, she bad. I need a bad bitch like Makima to control my life. On God. 2026 is my year. No Other Choice, directed by Park Chan-wook, is my film of the year before I watch number one. Well, before I start talking about the movie, let me talk about Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook is one of those directors where once you watch a couple of his movies, you start to recognize his patterns everywhere. His films are stylish, cruel, and funny in the darkest way possible. He's best known for the Vengeance trilogy. You know, Old Boy? Everyone knows Old Boy. I actually watched Old Boy after No Other Choice. So yeah. My first Park Chan-wook movie was Decision to Leave. I watched it like during release when I was 18 and like fell asleep because I was a noob. But I rewatched it again before watching this movie. You know, I just want a reason to talk about Decision to Leave and The Handmaiden, not gonna lie. Decision to Leave is something that I could relate to, and The Handmaiden, if I was a lesbian, I would have probably relate to that movie too. But whatever. No Other Choice, starring the frontman from Squid Game, is about someone getting abruptly laid off after 25 years at the same company, and desperation ensues, where he has to eliminate his competition for the job that he wants. In this world today, where if you're not a Nepo baby or a guy with 20 years of experience when you are like 10 years old, it's hard to find a job, and maybe people can relate to that. This movie was amazing. The cinematography was good, the soundtrack was my favorite part, and in general, I just loved this movie. It was an amazing watch, and I could see myself rewatching this in the near future. I love you, No Other Choice. Out of all the movies I was anticipating this year, I've never gotten FOMO like Marty Supreme. I've checked Twitter and bam, Marty Supreme. I checked Instagram and what? Marty Supreme. I was getting so FOMO from not watching this movie that I watched it like, 2 hours before I wrote this script? Call it super recency bias or whatever, but this is my movie of the year. Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie, brother of Benny Safdie, who plays Bowser Jr. in the upcoming Super Mario Galaxy movie. Well, it's the most batshit, insane, and nerve-wracking movie I've watched this year, and shit, maybe all time. It's practically a character study about, well, a character named Marty Mauser, a table tennis player, and yet again, hijinks occurs. This is my first Safdie brother movie, and well, I was kind of missing out. You just gotta watch it, man. I wouldn't say anything about this movie because like it just came out, but it's really good. Timothy Chalamet now is my GOAT. I believe he will cement himself as the LeBron James of acting in the 20th century. Great movie. Well, that's all the movies I loved this year. Hopefully next year would be good. You know, as a yearner, there was no romantic films, which I'm surprised. I have no idea on what to put on the script, and I am also dying again. See here? Thank you, and see you in like 3 months for the next video.